Twickenham loud and ready. But now about to fall silent as we all remember those who have fallen or been injured in conflict and their families on this Remembrance Weekend. And earlier, a wreath was placed at the new Rose and Poppy Gates by His Royal Highness Prince Harry, Vice Patron of the RFU.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now please remain standing for the South African national anthem, led by Andre Venter.
imitanda zoie tu così sigelela tina lo sapoloaio morena buluca si ciaba sa Jesu o fedi sedinto alle mazzuene si buluche si ciabasa Jesus si ciabasa South Africa die blauw van onze hemel die diepte van ons ziel voor ons eeuwige gebergtes waar die kranse antwoord gee sounds the call to come together and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Please remain standing for the national anthem, led by Laura Wright.
Jerome Garces of France is the referee. He'll be assisted by Glenn Jackson, New Zealand, Andrew Brace of Ireland, and watching the moments to be judged by replay, John Mason of Wales.
Well, for England, Owen Farrell has a central role. He is the world's best goal kicker at Test match level, and he must take advantage today. Defensively, he has to organise and stop Damien de Allende, and as an inside centre, he has become England's playmaker. For the Springboks, the inclusion of Peter Steph-Dutoy on the blind side epitomises the importance attached to their line-out. There are giants all over the place. Dylan Hartley will have to look very hard and be very accurate against this South African Springbok line-out.
Thanks, my boy.
Elliot Daly to start for the first time. All his previous caps, 5 of them off the bench. Tom Ward is back when he thought it must have been all but over. England look to make it 11 in a row. Eddie Jones seeks the perfect 10 to his start. And South Africa need a response to the Rugby Championship. Those thrashings at the hands of New Zealand. The 2016 Old Mutual Wealth Series underway. The unmistakable figure of Billy Vunipola. Ben Youngs scored 2 tries against the Boks. That is Park. England's last tall there, Rudy Page. Little scrum half, 5'7". Forwards tower over him. What a big South African pack this is. Even more so with Alberts wearing 6, which is open side, of course, for South Africa. There's little Page. And Dutoy has played back row before. He's 6'7". Mind you, England feel they can mix it. Youngs goes high again. There's Vili Leroux. Wasps fans will watch with interest. Combrink.
No, leave it. No, back, 7.
And the winger there again to act as the half-back. Page back in position. Leroux. He's the South African left-footed kicking option. Of course, Elliot Daly to fulfil that role for England. And calling for the mark, Billy Vunipola. There's another left-footer in Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Just testing out the opposition. And the early greasy ball off this wet surface. Filthy night, filthy morning, but thankfully it seems to have gone through the rain, and that will be a 22 dropout for England.
Few early touches there for Vili Leroux.
1 step back.
Who's going to be key to South Africa as England go quickly and riskily.
Half taken by Francois Venter, but it's opposite number Elliot Daly who retrieves it for England. Giant Etzebeth trying to cause issues there, but England held him off. Mako Vunipola, in magnificent form, just been named Premiership Player of the Month. But that, an early penalty for South Africa.
2 from the middle, wide from the side.
It's a penalty to South Africa, but that early restart is a real interest. Because I think Eddie Jones, when he was coach of Japan, one of the things that Jones did was make sure the game was played at a breakneck pace. He had the smaller Japanese team and he played at a pace that ran the legs of the South African giants. Now this is a very big English team. They're in no way the size of the Japanese team that Eddie Jones has coached, but it's a vast South African pack, and I would expect to see England play at pace, and I wouldn't be surprised when they get to line-outs, whether like Japan in the World Cup at Brighton, they get there, it's very quick, it's into the line-out. Try and play the game at a pace to destabilise the Springboks. Lambie has a kick for goal for South Africa, but I think with that dropout, you saw how England might try and play this game against the Boks.
Lambie led the side last week against the Barbarians at Wembley. And won his 50th cap for his country on this ground here at the World Cup. And he started this match with 3 very useful early points for South Africa and a smile as well.
Well, he's replaced Morné Steyn, who is one of the great test match goal kickers of recent years, but Lambie offers more than Steyn. He's not quite as ambitious as Elton Jantjies, but he is there to give them balance today. Key man for the Boks.
England took the risk, didn't work out, conceded points. De Allende, strong in the World Cup.
4 offside, white.
Lambie.
4 offside.
And England,
Number 4.
a little bit careless again.
A little bit eager at the moment. They haven't played since Sydney, whereas South Africa have had a long and arduous and a difficult year. They've just come out of the blocks a little bit too quickly, England. Eddie Jones looks on. The other thing we've seen quite a bit of already is the left foot of Willie le Roux and the right foot of Lambie. When le Roux isn't there, the Springboks lose an attacking player, but they lose a clever kicker. When they've got the 2 in tandem, it causes problems. Onto the right foot of Lambie. Launchbury just out of the blocks too early.
What a contest this is going to be at the line out.
Well, it's a contest, Miles. If South Africa are going to win this game and upset the odds, they have to utterly dominate England. They have tree trunks all over the place. Siebenetzer at the front, very powerful. Luke de Jager and Pieter-Steph du Toit, an incredible array of jumpers.
That was
7 in the side, white, 7 in the side.
2 meters 5 centimeters.
And we didn't even mention Warren Whiteley, who gets thrown up in the air, doesn't he?
It's Page to Allende. And Lambie charged down. The referee was playing advantage to South Africa. So we've played 6 minutes and England have conceded 3 penalties.
Well, we had a massive shock, didn't we, in Chicago last Saturday night, and one of the things that New Zealand, the favourites, did that really hurt their cause was they conceded a load of penalties in the early part of the game, and they gave Ireland a chance to get points, territory, and at the moment England making some elementary errors there, and South Africa, they will be very happy with penalties, because I don't think they're going to want to play this game at 100 miles an hour. They're going to want to hit their jumpers, drive mauls, work the English legs, play it down the tram lines. It's old-fashioned rugby, but with this line-out they picked, quite clearly there is an intent to really work England.
Captain Strauss going over the top, finding De Allende. That was good. England were expecting the big men to come into play. Missed them all out. Forward went the beast. Willem Albert, so often the scourge of England. Pieter-Steph du Toit with the carry, then Page back to Lambie. Looks for the drop goal. And gets it. Another smile. Had a bit of a wobble, but it got there, and he swapped onto the other side really well, did Patrick Lambie there, and that was clever at the line out too. South Africa 6-0.
De Allende gets over the gain line, very clever. Lambie a right footer, but comfortable enough. He struck that cleanly enough. That's a good left-footed drop goal. Lovely play from South Africa there.
And caught by Lambie, who's clearly enjoying his afternoon so far, and why not after this start.
No.
And the beast spots the gap and is on the charge. Crowd could really let it go there. It's the longest beast I've ever heard. Here's Page. And England get one back. Dan Cole at the breakdown there.
8.
Well, they needed that. The tide has gone against England so far, and penalties have been very much at the root of it. Owen Farrell gets a chance to push England deep for the first time in this game.
England captain there quickly, had a quick drive of the ball, and it's straight into Launchbury. England looking to play with this pace. Mako Vunipola sets it back to Ben Youngs. George Ford really shouldn't threaten South Africa, and doesn't. Easy mark for le Roux. Jesse Creel suffering a leg injury and having to go home, but le Roux back in a shirt that he's almost made his own. 40th cap there now.
Lost his position, didn't he, in the summer because he was playing in Japan. But South Africa, throughout the Rugby Championship, were very one-dimensional. He came off the bench against New Zealand in that 57-15 defeat, and suddenly Alistair Coetzee's team had someone who could just break a game up.
Hartley to launch free again. Here's Youngs and Farrell. Youngs to the blind side, finds Mike Brown. A little bit of a slip. Back. Can expect that. Tricky surface, although it looks beautiful, it is wet. Launch free again. Youngs forward, little check. It's meant for Yard, needs a bounce. LaRue does well, keeps his eyes on it, but then runs out of ground, and Daly there to make the tackle.
Clive, we were talking before the match about set piece. What are your thoughts in the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, I was just looking, Stuart, to back you up on those first two line-outs. When it was on to take them quickly, it was really quick. Hartley went to the line, went straight to Launchbury. It was pre-called, no messing about, and as you said, to keep the pace of the game up.
Onto the tail this time and finding Courtney Laws, Billy Vunipola. Oh, that's nice. From forward to Yard. Brown outside. Johnny May back of the side. Is he back in the corner? He thinks so.
Well, if that try is given, that's an absolute peach by England. The big men with the soft hands. I think it's Elliot Daly with a lovely decoy. And Johnny May, he is a finisher, and he flew into the corner. No TMO there. England's timing of the pass, superb. They sucked the Springbok defence in brilliantly. And if you look at it here, Billy Vunipola does a great job. Super ball, Billy Vunipola, the white, great decoys twice there. Daly with the second one. Brown's pass is okay. May's finish is exceptional. There's no doubt about the finish from Johnny May.
The referee just wanted to check himself there on the big screen, but Johnny May knew. It's 2 years since he announced himself really on the international stage with that searing try against New Zealand. Had that knee ligament injury playing for his club Gloucester after the World Cup. He's missed out on the Eddie Jones era until now. His 7th international try in his 20th cap. Talking stats, Owen Farrell, so impressive in the summer. 23 from 26 on that tour. And that takes England into the lead. Wonderful kick from Farrell.
That's a try that deserves 7 points. England's attacking play has not been the strength so far under Jones, but that was brilliant. Billy Vunipola does a great job. Decoy line there, and watch Daly, bang, Daly's the one there. He just sucks in Francois Fenter. England have kicked off, but Fenter, the debutant, just got pulled out of position. Beautifully done by England.
Billy Vunipola there again on the restart. As solid as it gets. That's not too
in the air,
from
Jerome.
LaRue, but the referee didn't like
Just a
it.
penalty in the air.
And taken out in the air.
Just a penalty.
And
In the air.
South
tackle.
Africa have another chance to score. Clive?
Good, Andy.
Yeah, just again, the speed of the line-out, you're right, Barnsley, Miles, the back play was awesome, Daly's decoy. But it comes from the speed of that line-out, and I've often said, to play at pace isn't about running around like headless chickens. It's the speed of the ball you move from scrums, and especially the speed of the ball you move from line-out. And Hartley to Laws, it was so quick, the defence can't get set properly or quick enough, and that gives you a big opportunity. So it was a great England try from sort of 1 to 15, forwards and backs. It's the pace of the line-out. And just on this, we've given 4 kicks away in 13 minutes, 4 penalties, and Ireland, when they beat the All Blacks, gave 4 penalties away in the entire game. So it's the one area where England will be disappointed with so far.
Just reiterate the point, New Zealand conceded 4 or more in the first 15 minutes.
Here's Lambie. Oh, he's not got this one. It was a very special try from England, and for them a very special place. But Lambie unable there to regain the lead for Alistair Cootsia's side. His great friend of Eddie Jones worked together at South Africa under Jake White. It might fall for Rob Shaw, it does. Good work from the former England captain. Yard to Youngs. Vunipola. Here comes Farrell onto that at pace. Tom Wood, nicely done, good hands from Vunipola onto Rob Shaw, and then Yard didn't hold on to it, but he got it back. Laws can't hold on to it, and he knocks it forward.
Some sweeping play down the short side there. Apart from the disciplinary problems, it's been a pretty good start by England. We see from behind this try, watch Owen Farrell first of all coming into your shot. There's the first decoy, and there's Daly just pulling Fenter out of position. Yard has swept around from right to left. It's really good play here. Daly's timing, he just sucks in 13. It's pulled around the back. Fenter, really good Super Rugby player, but he's outsmarted there at test match level, and May, he's smiling 5 metres out, isn't he?
Crouch! Bind! You are too far? We're not comfortable? Okay.
Beast up against Dan Cole on this near side as we look to this scrum. On the far side, it's Matthew Vunipola against Vincent Koch, and he's just joined Saracens club. Koch.
Bind!
It'll be interesting.
Set!
It's both down my side. White's tight head needs a longer bind, longer bind.
You wouldn't expect South Africa to target scrum dominance as they will the line out. But they have to hold their own or do a little bit more. We've seen in the first 16 minutes real improvement in England's attacking play, something pretty exciting if I must be honest. So for South Africa to win, they have to cut the umbilical between Billy Vunipola and Ben Youngs, because England look as if they could cut to pieces a Springbok defence that has struggled all season.
It's the one win in their last 5 tests. South Africa won away win since November 2014. Here's Lambie to Allende. Off it goes to Fenter, the new man, then LaRue. He's got Combrink outside. Johnny May now. Try scorer makes a tackle, but they made good ground towards halfway. Whiteley. Hoisted by Page. Mike Brown on a damp day.
No, it's
Great
green.
man to have for England in that shirt, Brown. Daly, well, he tried to put the foot down.
Inside.
But South Africa were waiting that time.
No, outside.
Tom Wood. Described by Eddie Jones in that now famous conversation post-World Cup as distinctly average. The door was left open.
Option. Scramble line
Chris
up.
Rob Shaw couldn't take that.
Good kick though. Good kick from Ben Youngs.
Yeah.
He might well be a sports car, Elliot Daly, but there are some times when sports cars don't drive up dead ends, and that is distinctly one of them there. Willem Alberts may have put on a pound or two since he's been in Paris, but he remains a veritable dump truck when you run straight at him.
32 is the oldest player in the match. It's Willem Alberts.
Second. Keep the space. You will stay here. We stay here.
I would think, Miles, playing open side, wearing 6, but in South Africa that's the open side. Even though England don't have an out-and-out open side, they'll look to stretch Albert. It's a massive back row, but it's not a quick one, and it's not one to get down on the ground.
It's Good South African scrum. It's controlled well by Whiteley, and they get their reward. Penalty.
Well, the penalty count is really quite decisive against England at the moment. You know, for all the brilliance of the try, if you've got a penalty count that is, I don't know, 5-1, that's the sort of realm. You lose test matches if you can't change those ratios around.
Big concern for England then, even though they lead, is that penalty count. And this will be a concern. The power put on by the Springbok 8.
You are under pressure.
Delighted with it, obviously, but taking their time getting to the line-out. South Africa want to get this right.
What a contrast, Miles. England to the line-out quick. South Africa just taking their time. Slow drive.
And there's the option that is Pieter-Steph du Toit. 22 takes for him in the Rugby Championship. And there goes Koch, and he's fed it off to Alberts, and suddenly England backpedaling at quite a rate, and here's captain Strauss. It's better from an England point of view, that tackle, but it's keeping coming here. Page, Alberts, Page in there quickly.
Advantage green, huh?
And another penalty coming. But here's JP Peterson first. Hand on it, it's bobbling around.
Forward green.
Must have gone forward off Peterson, so referee Garces will award yet another penalty for South Africa.
Step to me,
Well, that was quite brilliant from the Springbok forwards. We said their line-out would be central to their game plan. Adrian Strauss, accurate. Pieter-Steph du Toit, the second row at the back. They get the drive going. Whiteley peels it through. Eben Etzebeth is there. And then they just surge through the middle there. Vincent Koch, superb. And Alberts, a dangerous runner. That was top-class test match play from the Springbok pack. And it wasn't a bad kick either. Ball knocked forward by Leicester's JP Peterson, cleared by Yard.
One scrum, so you need to fix your problem.
Referee just explaining to Dylan Hartley there. Penalty count is almost getting out of hand here. No doubt England feel that themselves.
Keep working, guys.
Let's go down to Graham Simmons, who's with Brian Habana. Not quite fully fit for this match, but he's with Graham.
Well, thank you very much indeed. A bit of bull and matador so far, Brian, much as you were expecting.
Definitely, I think both teams sort of feeling themselves out. England, with one great set piece move that led to Johnny May's try. I think, from a Springbok point of view, we're getting good first phase ball, putting them under pressure from not only lineups but from scrum time as well. So hopefully, keep, with conditions like this, maybe keep the ball in hand, keep playing the territory game pretty well. And when we're getting into, into that red zone, scoring zone, we're getting the points. So hopefully we can continue taking the scoreboard over. But yeah, it's both teams just feeling themselves out.
Brian, thanks very much indeed. Thanks for your time. Miles, back to you.
And Lambie, perfectly simple there. From that distance, that kind of angle, always 3 points. 9-7, South Africa lead again.
You can give those points to the pack. That was a superb drive.
Looking like a member of the pack, but he is in fact inside centre, Damian de Allende.
Well, England have got a bit of work to do with the line-out and scrum at the moment. There's a bit of a fixed job required.
Such a good year under Eddie Jones, these 9 straight wins.
Green open.
There's that one win right at the end of the World Cup. Count as part of the run, if you like, for the team.
Green.
Against Uruguay when it had all gone.
Sort of want to start after that, really, don't you? But I guess it counts.
Youngs high for Farrell. For the South African defence had time to come up. Partly off the floor to his Northampton colleague Tom Wood. Kept the beard. Kept the strength. Samson-like, like Eddie Jones, so too Billy Vunipola when it comes to the amount of strength that a player possesses. It's hard to top him, but that's good reaction from Francois Venter. Mike Brown on his feet, doing well. He's turned it over at the very least. Could have a penalty, but England want to just seek a little bit more with Johnny May. The referee decides for them.
9, release.
First time we've really seen Billy Vunipola in action was a nice play from Ben Youngs. Ben Youngs loves this play where he takes 2-3 paces across just to draw men, and that creates the hole for Vunipola, and that's the gain line gone England's way. Youngs loves doing that, but you have to have big carriers coming straight, otherwise it just crabs the entire team. There's time when Youngs get criticism for taking those 2-3 steps, but when you got someone like the Saracen number 8 coming, that's the sort of right angle cut you want.
10.
All set up by the shaggy-haired Wood.
It's a ball. What?
Crowd looking for a reply here from the England forwards. To the line out, to the scrum. And it's Mako Vunipola. Danger of getting caught on his own, but he does well before Page can get in. And it's Farrell to Daly. Not much space in international rugby, is there? England trying to create again like they did with the May score. Brown. It's split-second decision-making. It's turnover ball for South Africa. Page. Combring, good handoff. Wood needs to get there. Did enough. It goes an arm from Laws, but it's fallen for Farrell. Marlon Yard. England can't afford to juggle too much here. And they've lost it again, and Daly, and nobody can take it. Here's Alberts. He's got enough on that to get it back to Etzebeth. Everybody's dropping it. But not forward from a South African perspective. De Allende saw some space in behind, and Mike Brown, the fullback, has it covered.
A tame end to a sequence of errors there from England. But Combricht on the right wing makes a great play to come in. Superb tackle first of all on Brown, and then he gets the ball back and he's off on the short side. He's a clever footballer, and then the turnover from South Africa. Taurira involved. Nice delay from Page. And he's past his man.
LaRue with time.
Stay, Adrian, stay. Stay with me. Yeah.
Billy Vunipola knowing exactly where the touchline was. Brown.
Take the mark, Andrew.
This will be Lambis. And he's got time as well. George Ford in his body shape, making sure that if he dropped it, which he did, he was going backwards.
Stay. 15 wide.
LaRue.
15.
And the exchange is won by England.
It was a Roland Garros moment, wasn't it? Steady balls to the baseline, not so much looking for the winner, but just waiting for the error. And in the end, Billy LaRue, who does so many things brilliantly, but he does have a tendency every now and again to go for the big play, and that comes off the side of the left boot, and that's a big gain for England. Interesting to see what England are doing with their line-out so far. They've had 5 line-out throws, and because of the pressure South Africa put on them, 3 of them have been to that man Joe Launchbury at the front, 1 to the back, 1 to the middle, and of course it's the back middle area is where it really does hurt the defence. That's the quick ball.
Break and play. Let's go to the gain line, and Will Greenwood will.
Maybe, but...
Miles, you've been talking about some of the handling errors, but England was super slick for the Johnny May try. The South African setup to begin with is wrong in the midfield. The gaps are wrong between De Allende and Venter. Then a crisp liner off the top. Billy, that's why he plays. He can really handle. Here comes the Farrell decoy charge at Lambie. They'd used De Allende against forward South Africa. England win with the decoy, second decoy. Here comes Elliot Daly, holds Venter round the corner, slick handling.
And then trying it again. There's Mako Vunipola. Courtney Laws. A recent knee injury, but proved his fitness this week. Vunipola. Youngs. Ford. Marlon Yard. Excellent sliding from LaRue. Use the surface to good effect.
As did George Ford, waited his kick till quite late. There you go, England again to the front. This time, Tom Wood. Decoy runners everywhere, getting over the gain line. They came back the short side after Ford. Clever kick from Ford.
Launchbury this time, England mixing it at the line out. Hartley. Youngs again. Once more. Here goes Launchbury. Ben Youngs. Marlon Yard right off that wing. Maku Vunipola. Launchbury waits again. Familiar sight before along came Cruz and Itoje. Lost his place. Here's Ford in drop goal position. Whereas Lambie succeeded.
That's a poor effort. That's a really poor effort. You think Pat Lambie switched right foot to the alternative foot and got it from the similar sort of position all the time in the world from George Ford. He really does need to nail kicks like that. I know we've got one Jay Wilkinson with us in the studio, and those kicks, once you decide that you're going to end the rhythm of the attack and take the 3 points, you have to bag them and make them yours.
I'll be very disappointed with that. Farrell. One go off the tee. It's very successful.
Only the ball, the ball.
Wide with the conversion. So far, South Africa holding their discipline when inside their own half.
No, two
Both
wide.
halves, in fact. Page, Lambie. Brown. May pushing men aside to try and get there. Let Lambie come to the floor.
No!
Alberts, scorer here
Back.
6 years ago, man of the match in the first test in the series between these two 4 years ago in South Africa.
Backwards. No!
Diaga doing well, but then England pouncing. Rob Shaw again, right in the thick of it. Youngs, Farrell. JP Peterson saw exactly what was happening there and was scooting back to help LaRue, and that's why South Africa didn't clear, but England still have a chance here.
South Africa defending quite well, you know, that they've got quite often 4 men deep in the pocket. There's Chris Robshaw making a cracking tackle on Rudy Page. The ball's turned over, and England just a little bit deep. No real intent in these conditions, perhaps, to go for broke. Instead, Farrell goes for the corner, but Peterson and Billy LaRue have got a huge amount of experience, and at the moment England aren't finding a huge amount of a purchase on their kicking game.
Well, Peterson has won 7, drawn 1 against England, and of course not just reflecting this long run for South Africa against the men in white. 12 matches unbeaten. Eddie Jones trying to bring that to an end.
Here's a fascinating man for this game, Jerome Garces. Eddie Jones will think he's possibly an advantage for him. Garces, of course, was the man in the middle when Jones masterminded one of the great shots in world rugby history when Japan beat South Africa. But Garces was also the man here at Twickenham when Wales came from behind and beat England. So Jones has happy memories, but there's an awful lot of other players do not.
He was also in charge of the World Cup semi-final, South Africa, New Zealand. South Africa far from happy memories that day. Beaten by 2 just over a year ago. His Youngs throwing the dummy. 2 points the gap here, and England looking to get that advantage back. Youngs again, no chance to throw a dummy that time, but he wanted Billy Vunipola, and Etzebeth took a very nasty blow there. Billy Vunipola's okay.
concussion bounds here.
That is some tree to fall to the ground, Ebenezer.
Once again, Ben Youngs is pulling the strings well here. It's a nice little break. He's looking for the forwards. Vincent Koch of Saracens just about gets him down. But when this move goes on, once again, Ben Youngs runs that 2-3 metre yard across and then he straightens up. And when Vunipola is involved, you'll see him again involved. If you go back from that, that's the collision with Ebenezer. But if you look at a reverse angle, you can see again, Ben Youngs is just pulling the strings and getting his big men into the game.
Etzebet still down.
We were talking about that epic Japanese win against South Africa, and of course Tanaka, the scrum half, just kept the pace of the game up 100 miles an hour all the time. And I think Jones has come into this game wanting England to play at pace, and Youngs, he's certainly trying to do that. Watch this again. There's the 2-3 paces across. Bang, England drawing 2 defenders. If they can get quick ball, they're in a good position. It's not quite quick enough at the moment, though. Lovely ball there.
Oh, Vincent Koch deflecting Vunipola into Etzebet. Oh, he's sitting up. So that's a good sight. Oh, he still needs a rest. And as he does so, let's join Willinger.
Thank you, Miles. Whatever the conditions, Eddie wants to play fast against this big South African team. Look, there's 4 watermen on the field at this stage. 1, 2, 3 at the back of the line out. There's a man giving out some water in the middle of the field. England are ready. Hartley is ready to throw the ball, and these guys have to scamper. South Africa at the moment aren't ready. England are desperate to play fast, and with it, they're getting that game line.
Because last week Will was carrying the water on at Wembley, coaching against the touring Springboks for the Barbarians. As Eddie Jones looks on, Ebenezer is being led away for just a longer period of checking, which is absolutely the right thing to do.
And it must be said that the Barbarians water boy, he kept the pace up himself. Great speed from Will Greenwood, start to finish.
Franco Mostert is on to win his 5th cap.
The mark is here, yeah.
And he's number 19 alongside Luke de Jager. Straight into the engine room.
This is a great attacking situation for England. Got a split field, Brown behind Ford.
Bye.
Johnny
What's the decision?
Well, Johnny May on the background. I think Billy Vunipola looks to carry, but England have got to get this scrum solid first.
No, because when I asked you to put the ball, the scrum was... And because you wait, we lose the stability. So don't wait, please.
Such a big scrum. Players know it, and therefore it's going to take some setting from the referee here.
Big foundations needed from Dan Cole here. Really hold this England scrum. With Big Billy, the opportunity he needs.
Bind. Set. Okay, stay.
On the turn.
Last year, of course, that would have been a reverse and a South African pudding, not anymore.
Nothing wrong.
World Rugby directives there.
Big pressure from
And that
both
really,
sides.
to stop teams from doing it deliberately all the time.
To stop that whip round, exactly, Miles. Have to say, though, South Africa might just be thinking, hey, we had a little bit of pressure there. The soon-to-be Saracen, Vincent Koch, getting the plaudits there from Mostert, saying, hey, you've got your future teammate in a bit of trouble there. Could be true, could be gamesmanship.
Captain didn't need to say anything there, did he? Fingers did it. Slaps on the back.
Sense
His
here,
props.
sense here, a bit of pressure. Hartley needs a good strike height. Wow, they get 3 points.
Three
They'll take 3
green
points.
on the ground. Collapse.
Farrell signals for
Green collapse.
the posts. So if that penalty before was won by the South African forwards, this one won by the England forwards in response.
South Africa, we talked about Garces refereeing them in the World Cup against New Zealand in the 1820 defeat against Japan. 4 times he's refereed them and 4 times South Africa's lost. But it's one of those stats you don't get too carried away, because 3 of the defeats against New Zealand.
I'm not sure anybody was bothering to watch in the ground then, as Owen Farrell had that one. A little bit like Lambie's before. That man with his percentage at the moment in international rugby, well, he was never going to miss from there. He's approaching 500 points in the international game. Only Johnny Wilkinson out in front now in an England shirt. Mind you, that's a long way to go.
Miles, but he's got the Wilkinson aura now of when he pushes that ball down, wherever it is you think that's going over.
You can argue he had it almost from day one. And it came to the kicking.
Great tackle, Launchbury again. He's put himself about.
On Whiteley, here's LaRue. Little roll and aggravate Mike Brown.
That will do South Africa. They don't want to play from too deep. They want to use the left foot of the intelligent Billy LaRue. And then they say to their big line out forward, right, we've given you the position there. There you can see South Africa don't have the men, but Dylan Hartley, he looks up and he sees Mostert there, and he sees all sorts of giants there.
Hartley and Wood, club combination.
Don't understand there, Miles, why South Africa 15 metres from their own line do not put the pressure on and compete. I really don't.
And a combination that is reunited at international level. Peterson, that slippy ball again, falls to Ford, Laws, it's on. Farrell, Daly. Johnny May out of the blocks. Combrink will know that May is on him, and there it is. Daly, Brown trying to play football with it, couldn't quite take it, but have England got it down? Laws with the follow-up.
John,
it's all a question.
Yes or no, can you check? Probably knock on by White.
Of the knock-on. And it's a yes or no.
Yeah, I felt that it may well have gone forward from Mike Brown before Courtney Laws gets there. It's a mess. Brown goes for the pickup. So I think his finger, the key is, does his finger touch it? Laws gets it down. Here's the moment. Need to see that there's hands there, but is it a South African hand?
I'm not sure he's touched that.
I'd say, is it Lambie's hand that gets there?
I think it could well be. We will see maybe from here. Lambie gets the hand there.
Lambie's left hand, Mars, isn't it?
Sorry, and there the hands and torso of Courtney Laws, who in his 50th cap has got an international try here.
I think he don't control the ball.
Courtney Laws much quicker than Dialende, though. It's very slow. Goes backwards off the left hand, then it hits the thigh of Mike Brown, and his left thigh takes it forward. We go again. The left hand of Lambie, South African fly half, it comes the other side of the post, there, takes it backwards. Brown doesn't touch that, Brown's thigh knocks it forward, and then Dialende is just standing there, and Laws beats him to it.
John, Jerome, about the discussion with Glenn, what we saw on the big screen, we thought that the green hand pushed the ball from the English side, so for us, yeah. So do you have any reason why I cannot want to try?
I've got no reason at all. Yeah, decision.
Yeah. John Mason confirms. To Monsieur Garces. And Courtney Laws has one. England have one just before half-time to add to the Johnny May score. England had already decided they were way back inside their own half. I mean, Farrell was ready to take the conversion. And there was absolutely no reason why that couldn't be given. The hand belonged to Lambie. It was clear enough.
I think the phrase has to be, they all count the same. We've seen one absolute beauty of a 7-point try from England, and then an absolute mess. South Africa will be distraught at how they let that one through. Lucky break there as Lambie tried to go back, but England will be delighted with their 7 points here. They have conceded penalties, they've had a few problems, the set piece, but they now have a handy lead against the Boks.
Conversion successful from Farrell. England 17, South Africa 9, and the speed of May here on the chase a key factor too.
Yeah, you feel Combrick has to do better, but Johnny May has just chased this one down. Great pressure. Daly, who kicks it, puts the pressure. Brown, he's always there sniffing, and it's just guts and temerity. It gets him to the line, and then Laws much quicker than Dialande, who really did seem very upright there.
Catch from LaRue again. Page. Question has to be asked, do South Africa have the innovation to unlock the England defence? Of course, tries have been an issue in recent games. Nicely from Launchbury there, another quite happy to get down and dirty for his team. Tries to score a Laws, held up, but he's getting the ground.
Not under the ruck.
Du Toit all over him.
Ben Youngs is calling it really well, Miles. He's playing an excellent game here.
Launchbury on the chase, falls for Yard, gets it to Rob Shaw. There is Youngs. Cole did well not to be in the way in the end. Tom Wood straightens the attack and goes inside the 22. Youngs wants it quickly. Ford. And dropped by Courtney Laws.
Even before the knock-on from Laws, that was a shabby piece of play from England. George Ford had got quite flat. That ball had to be in front of him. It wasn't a great pass, and the pass to Laws was a poor one.
And we're hearing that Eben Etzebeth will stay off the pitch after that examination. South Africa lose a key man, a big man. A man who can arm curl the equivalent in weight to George Ford.
He's an absolute behemoth, Eben Etzebeth, and at his best he is one of the best front jumpers, one of the best line-out forwards in the world. It's going to be a blow. England now, they've got a sniff of victory. They've got the noses in front. Farrell, you can see just how important he is to the team. He's one of the team leaders, one of the vice-captains. He's becoming an ever more influential player in England shirts, and I fully expect him to be wearing that number 12 shirt with the Lions. Fancy if Sexton and Murray could play as they did in Chicago, you're going to see a green 9 and 10, but in England a white 12. But that's for the future. For the moment, England seem to have weathered the storm caused by their own penalties and have taken a bit of control.
World Player of the Year nominee Owen Farrell, along with his teammates Saracens, Maritoje and Billy Vunipola. 3 from 1 league is impressive, 3 from 1 club.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Stability, stability. Okay, stay. Use it now, 8. Use it.
Whiteley just starting to lose control of that, so Page steps in. He's fent up. Try and score at Wembley. South Africa would love to nick one here before half-time, but it's England going looking again, not sitting on their lead. Here's Brown. And they've got a penalty. Now, this is from distance, and of course England have another option here if Farrell doesn't feel like he can do it. And Elliot Daly is racing forward. He's keen.
Do you know, I think Farrell, I think this is just about within his range. No, he's decided that he's not. Farrell is so much more consistent, but Daly, I mean, this is a mere chip for him, but accuracy is an issue in a way it's not for the Saracens fly half. He's a bit of the France. I was talking to Jean de Villiers before the game, and they were asking about Elliot Daly, and I said when he kicks for goal, there's a lot of France stain about him. It goes absolutely miles, and sometimes it just bisects the post. Other times it'll land in somewhere else in Surrey.
I think his best at club level is just touching 60 metres, just short of 60. It was washed against Bath. England had another long-range kick in recent times, Billy Twelvetrees, perhaps not used as much on occasions like this as he might have been. Daly straight in there. He's keen, he wants it, he is going for it. And if this goes over, what a perfect way for England to go into the changing room. He struck it really well, full of confidence, full of technique and skill. And England get that extra 3 points on the stroke of half-time, courtesy of their new starter at centre, Elliot Daly, who was kicking from inside his own half in school matches here on this ground. England lead by 20 points to 9. And in a moment you can get the views of Sir Clive Woolwood, Johnny Wilkinson, Will Greenwood, Scott Britz and James Haskell.
Old Mutual Wealth sponsors this game.
What's the value of a machine if it doesn't connect us?
Paddy Power can't get Tiddles back, but we can put the smile back on your face. For all England and Ireland football matches, get a free bet if your team is leading at 60 minutes but fails to win. Now that'll set the cat among the pigeons. Paddy Power, you're welcome.
Alexa, what's in the diary for today?
Today at 6 p.m, Buster is back from the vet.
Alexa, add tennis balls and dog biscuits to my shopping list.
I've added tennis balls and dog biscuits to your shopping list.
Alexa, play my Buster playlist.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we...
I could get used to this.
Okay, all clear.
Watch a new premiere every day, only on Sky Cinema.
They are the best of enemies. It rarely fails to deliver. It's a boiling point at Old Trafford. The noise says it all. Only the Premier League writes scripts like this. Just pure entertainment.
I'm Joseph. That don't change.
Honestly, you've always rivals.
See what happens when old rivals are reunited. Manchester United v Arsenal next Saturday on Sky Sports.
Old Mutual Wealth sponsors this game.
Yeah, Jerry Guscott certainly knew how to beat the Boks, and at half-time England are doing likewise. It's been a funny old game, lots of moving parts, history on the Boks side, but form very much with England, but it was the visitors who opened up an early lead through the boot of Pat Lambie. What a try this was, given the conditions, and wonderful to see Johnny May back and doing what Johnny May does. In at the corner to put England in front, Boks back in front, again through Pat Lambie, and then it became a bit of a game of scramble. England managed to clear their lines when the ball broke free, but South Africa couldn't do likewise. And a special day for Courtney Lawes, cap 50, a try, his first international try, and a standing ovation, rightly so for the big man. Great to see him back in England colours as well. And, well, I should think England will take that, given the way certainly the first 10 or 15 minutes went. 20 points to 9, the 2 tries to the hosts as well. South Africa's wait for a 5-pointer goes on. That is 2.5 tests now without crossing the whitewash, and that really sums up a lot of their problems. But England, you feel, are beginning to take control of this, the first test of the Old Mutual Wealth series. And with apologies to the half-time entertainment on the pitch, it looks like we in the South Stand of the half-time entertainment. Johnny's got the entire of the South Stand tuning in and shouting his name. So Clive alongside Schalk 2. First things first, England 20 points to 9 to the good. Does it feel, as we were saying, that they're just beginning to get a grip on this one?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's been a great test match, and well done to South Africa. They've really fronted up. But I think especially the last 15 minutes, it was all England. I think they look a fitter side, they looked a better coached team. And really, as the stats say, South Africa haven't really come close to scoring a try. The penalty count will be the big worry for England. But I think the second half, with a very strong bench coming on, there really is a good chance for England to produce a good win here.
From a Boks point of view, you were saying at various points, this is as well as we've seen them play for a while, and yet it slightly sums up the season they're having, that they're 11 points down. What have you made of the good and the bad?
Yeah, the thing is, in the beginning, we brought physicality and intensity, and that was very good from the Boks. But it felt like the longer the half went on, the more we lost our way. We tried to play a different style. Instead of the first 50 minutes, we played to the corners, put them under pressure from a set-piece point of view. We should have keep on doing that and not try to chase the game.
Yeah, OK. The try for Johnny May. I mean, it's a beautiful try in the way it came together. How much more impressive, given the fact the ball at times...
Well, if you look in the space of 2 passes in the wet, those passes have travelled probably 5 metres in total. That's both of them together, and it's created all that space because both of those decoy lines are coming right back at the ball. If you look at that angle, both of the South African defenders that were drawn by that were drawn inwards and actually reaching, which created all the space on the outside. So don't underestimate the work of those 2 guys in that try that didn't get the ball. However, the guys that did, the passing at the end in that weather was good enough to get a guy over the line against, in conditions like I said, like that. It's an impressive try.
Killer, which was your buzzword for going through the middle, but it's England who've been exposed in that area. Is that something, you talk about discipline, is that something they'll have up on the whiteboard as well?
I think so. I think also the try by England, you couldn't see South Africa scoring a try like that. What you can see is South Africa doing this. England have spent a lot of time with their defensive coach Jason Riles creating this big white wall across. But South Africa have done the right thing. They're going right through the middle of the ruck. We called it killer. There's nothing better from an attacking team than go right through the middle. And I'm sure Scott would agree, defensively it's horrible when they come right through the middle. And South Africa were fantastic there because big white wall through the middle.
At times it has been, as we said, like a bar of soap. It broke free down here, but South Africa couldn't capitalise. It breaks free at the other end, and England do. I mean, in these kind of conditions, is it just about ultimately the luck, the bounce of the ball, and how gutted is South Africa going to be that A, they couldn't make this one count when it came their way, but also the way that they concede the try just before half-time?
Alex, I think it's all about momentum and not making errors. If you can minimise the errors and put pressure on England, then we've got a shot. The big thing is after the second try, I can see England's spirit and vibe going, picking up, where in the first 20 minutes I felt there was a bit of a lack of effort.
If you look at this try here as well, everything's directed, the speed there, as soon as we turn the ball over, the speed, everyone's together. The kick is a proactive decision, not a reactive, let's just get down there. It's just straight into that position. Suddenly it looks rampant. That whole performance now looks as though England are swarming as opposed to just sort of sitting back and hoping.
Yeah, a special moment for Courtney Lawes. It took an age for the TMO to give it, but Courtney Lawes is up and running in terms of his international points. Let's get down to the gain line and join Will.
Thank you, Alex. The chaps are talking about the kicking game, and it'll be crucial in the second half if South Africa are going to get into this. And they do have a twin threat. What we're going to see is the twin threat of both Lambie and Willie le Roux, the right and left of the ruck. You can see Mike Brown at the back. He doesn't know which side to go. He sort of realises late it's likely to go to Willie le Roux. But look at the space either side of the ruck, in those bottom corners, that Willie le Roux can find and gain territory from it. So the scoreboard does look comfortable, but Mike Brown and his wingers will still have a lot of work to do to make sure that South Africa can't get any real estate in the second half.
OK, I just want to pick up with you about the line-out. First of all, Dylan Hartley, who's not played a lot of rugby, but how well has he controlled things for England in terms of the set piece?
I think his darts were fantastic, but saying that is South Africa's just giving him the front ball. I can't understand if you've got 4 jumpers that we've picked, that you don't put more pressure from a lineup point of view. That's where I thought we're going to focus a lot of counter-attack ball from. We're winning the ball, steal the ball that way, so we don't have a fetcher. It's just a very odd way of competing.
Yeah. They're in a golden position, England. What would the message be at half-time? So they're in a golden position, England. What would the message be from you at half-time?
I would not want to overplay this. You know, the try, one great try, a couple of kick and rushes. So get your set play, kick the ball, but not to kick it out. Don't kick it out, because the South African line out is fantastic. Get the box to kick it out, then I think we can play off the line out. Our line out is 100%. So get them to kick out, play from there, and I think we're in a good position.
OK, it's been 11 defeats and 1 draw since England last beat the Boks, but as we were saying, they have got them where they want them. A real burst just before half-time has pushed them into a 20 points to 9 lead. It is greasy, conditions not helping either side, but you do feel England are in a golden position to close this one out. Can the Boks fight back? We'll find out in the second half.
Old Mutual Wealth sponsors this game.
Remember when everything you did was for the sheer pleasure of doing it. BMW X-Drive. Intelligent all-wheel drive.
Mayday! Mayday!
5 minutes left.
Exactly, then have my lot of 2-1 up.
Losing control.
Not with Betway's cash out. I can end the game and walk away with my winnings now if I want. Decisions. Time to push the button.
Well, if you say so.
Here we go.
Hey, here we go.
For the love of the game, Betway.com.
The mind is an amazing thing. It can make us love and hate. Mindless. Or mindful. It gives us the power of logic and the gift of irrationality. It's what makes us more than binary and lets us play with maybe, why, and what if. It searches for patterns and ways to experiment. A mind that's mastered its art is free to go beyond convention, to create a new craft beer, just to season the casks used to finish a truly outstanding whiskey. The experimental series from Glenfiddich. Unlearn whiskey.
I've got all the company I need right here.
Over 1,000 movies, all on demand. Only on Sky Cinema.
Watch the Premier League in ultra-high definition. on Sky Sports. Only with Sky Q.
Old Mutual Wealth sponsors this game.
Oh, that's nice. Ford to Yard. Brown outside. Johnny May back of the side. Is he back in the corner?
England 11 points up at half-time. The Northern Hemisphere is fighting back a bit at the moment, isn't it? Because obviously Ireland beat the All Blacks last weekend. Tonight we'll see them back at the Aviva. It's going to be a wonderful atmosphere as they take on Canada. All change from Joe Schmidt, but they will look to put up a big performance nevertheless. 7 o'clock for that, and that is on Sky Sports 3. And let's quickly whip you through the other sport across the Sky Sports platform. India, England tomorrow morning from 3:45 on 2. We've got the ATP World Tour Finals, day 1 of that tomorrow from midday on 3. The Brazilian Grand Prix from 2:30 tomorrow afternoon on the F1 channel on Sky Sports 1. And it's Man United Arsenal next Saturday from the Premier League. And that is an 11:30 start. And that'll be on Sky Sports 1 for you. Let's get the thoughts at half-time of James Haskell, who's ready to talk to Graham.
Yes, we have James Haskell, we have Neil Diamond, and we have Sweet Caroline, which is very much your era and not mine, James, I'm sure, with this kind of music. But Eddie Jones, what would he have been saying in there at half-time?
I think he would have been disappointed that we haven't taken control of the game as we wanted to. We've had some key moments where we've got our game plan into place, those quick line-outs, a couple of clever peels. There was a patch before the end of the second half where we had guys coming onto the ball. You saw Ben Youngs was able to go through, then Tom Wood fed Chris Robshaw. That's the kind of thing we want to see in the second half.
I think 20 points to 9 is a sufficient lead for him to put their shoulders back, put their chins up and play with a bit more freedom?
No, I think we need to come out, the side that comes out second half with more energy, more intensity. No doubt Eddie would have put a rocket at them with the defence. We need to impose ourselves. You know, we can't afford to sit back against South Africa. When we're 40 points ahead, then we'll sit back.
James, thank you very much indeed. Miles Stewart, back to you.
Thanks, Graham. Yes, we're just talking to others on the gantry here. I think the general feeling was there's been a lot of honesty in the Eddie Jones era, and no doubt in that England changing room at half-time as well. They lead, yes, but they know there's a lot more to give here, and if they perform anywhere near their optimum in this second half with this lead, then the result will surely look after itself.
If they were level, Miles, and England perform at the best, they'll win this game, because this is a South African team struggling at the moment, and England are in control tactically. They've got to cut the penalties out. They've got to impose more in defence. But, you know, England under Eddie Jones, they've had an amazing run. They've won a Grand Slam. They've had that historic series victory in Australia 3-0. But what I love about Eddie Jones, they won the Grand Slam, and he said, yeah, but it wasn't that good and we didn't play that well. He said Australia weren't that good. He sets the highest standards in terms of performance, and that is what will drag England towards New Zealand. Only towards at the moment.
Or Ireland.
Ireland are on the move.
Again, he had another grab there, Youngs. It is a tricky ball to try and control today because of all the heavy rain. Misty drizzle still out there. Pick up therefore by Launchbury.
What a game he's had. Winning line out at the front, winning ball on the floor, cleaning up rubbish.
Pops right out there from Mako Vunipola.
No, not top of the rack!
Retrieving it was Franco Mostert, who came on in the first half for Evan Etzebeth. Clashed heads with Billy Vunipola. Etzebeth came off second there. Right to get him off. Brown, Rob Shaw. Big Harlequins contingent in this England match, 23-6. Brown again to Johnny May. Doesn't need to be shown the outside, he'll take it.
Back.
Ford and Launchbury.
Rock form!
That time all he could do was take in the tacklers and then make sure that the ball was delivered to the likes of Billy Vunipola. Youngs. It's Courtney Lawes, his first international try in the first half. And Warren Whiteley takes on the kicking duties. Back goes May. To show his speed again. Must have been such a frustrating time for Johnny May with that knee injury. But he's back, and he's scoring again. Rob Shaw. Billy Vunipola throws the dummy, and there it is. For Youngs. Oh, Matador touch from Youngs, and there's George Ford. George Ford is away. Great patience from England. That is the composure and talent that Eddie Jones would have been wanting to see at the start of this second half. And the Six Nations, the summer feel-good, well, it's spreading into the autumn as well.
You soften him up with a big man. First of all, Billy Vunipola carries in. He commits numbers. 1, 2. There's another South African coming. 3 there. Now, Ben Youngs has been threatening this all day. There's the dummy. It's an absolute beauty. And a great ball there to George Ford. But that is the bludgeoning power of Billy Vunipola. Softens the team up. And then Youngs, superb. Mike Brown's the decoy. He's played this so many times and he's given it every time bar the once. Pulls it back to Ben Youngs, and Peter Steph du Toit just thinks, hang on, no, you're passing the ball. And once he's through, with George Ford coming up on his right shoulder, there's only one result. What a start for England, what a score for England.
Pace from Ford. As soon as he got it, you knew he was going to get away. And the restart is out on the full. And England now have a commanding position.
South Africa now have got to make sure they don't capsize as they did in Durban at home to New Zealand. 27-9. They're a long way now from England. When you think it was South Africa leading, what, about 20 minutes into this game? And the last 25, England have really just pulled away, and that's a horrible error from one of their most experienced players, Pat Lambie. They have to get the bits and pieces right, because the magic's not in the Springbok team or the confidence. They have to get all those bits right to stay in this game. And when they start to buckle and that doesn't happen, Kutsio's men are in trouble.
Just remember those smiles from Lambie at the start of the match. The kicking was going well, and South Africa were getting that lead that Stuart was talking about. Slender as it was, smiling now. Ford in towards the corner. Nothing JP Peterson and all his experience can do about that.
Well, that's what George Ford does brilliantly. I don't think he's been quite at his best ball in hand, well, for a season or two, but since Eddie Jones got hold of him, he's really shaped up again as a great tactician. That was a beautiful low kick that just skimmed into touch. I think, we said South Africa aren't competing. Scott was saying at half-time, we'd love to see Tom Wood get up.
Strauss.
No, 6.
Try and rumble it away. Page, this will need to be right. It is. And Lambie clears, and sufficiently so England can't take the quick one.
Johnny, I was critical about that missed drop kick from George Ford, but what's your take on the rest of his game?
Yeah, I think it's getting better and better, which is a sure sign of a guy that's learning as the minutes go by. So, you know, that's a massively impressive quality to have. But secondly, he's also benefiting massively from the pace of the game it's picking up, and Ben Youngs is a huge part of that from the base of the scrum. So I guess his options are becoming a little bit more simple as we go along. Maybe we'll see some more of that, but sure enough, you need to execute, and the guy is doing that better than anyone on the field right now.
As Johnny seems to have put to bed the rumours, wherever they started, about him joining his father at Toulon. Perfectly happy in England, playing for England. Johnny Wilkinson, favourite son of Toulon, as well as England. Ford lost it, Brown can't take it, but it was advantage all the way, and England have a chance from in front of the post to really start to put South Africa under the cosh, almost guaranteed 3 points here.
Almost. I know what you mean. Nothing's 100% in life. Well, this year of all years, we should assume that. The Cubs, dare I say it, Donald Trump. But I don't think he's going to miss this.
Well, Donald Trump would miss from here, I think.
I think Donald Trump might miss from here. Swept his hair back, he might get it, but I don't think we should even be joking. Good test match management. England looking to take 3 points, building the lead.
Yeah, here's Farrell to do exactly that. England's highest ever score against South Africa, that 53 points they scored here in 2002 under Sir Clive Woodward. Here's Farrell for 30 points to 9. There it is, gain line and will.
The increasing importance of Joe Launchbury today is understanding the short side. He's retreating. Johnny May counter-attack. You're going to pick him up on the left-hand side. Immediately sees what's going up the short side. Gets flat like a world-class fly half. That allows Launchbury and Robshaw to get beyond the game line. Then Vunipola try George Ford. Absolute class from Joe Launchbury today.
Here's Billy Vunipola on the restart again. Combring up quickly, but not sufficient strength to stop the big England number 8. Not one of Ben Young's best, but Johnny May makes it into something. And Young's can have another go. He's got no May to chase this one. It's Whiteley. That try right at the death against Argentina, the Rugby Championship, to get the win. South Africa desperate for any score here.
Mostert was clearly in front of Strauss there, but got away with it. Definite obstruction.
Page and Lambie. There's Peter Steph du Toit. Carry from the big man. Just do that well. There is Mostert. And then Willem Alberts. There's a bit of grit coming here from South Africa, as you'd expect in this situation. The Beast never lost to England in his Test debut in 2008. Page and Lambie is back. So too is Johnny May. Eddie Jones said this week he does go walkabout sometimes, Johnny May, but there is much more discipline to his game these days, and he's always been a threat with ball in hand. Good hands there from Vunipola. Young's liking this kick, liking this angle. Combrink. LaRue. Billy Vunipola there again. Brown loving him. Brown. His own Gary Owen. And then his tackle. Page saying to South Africa, what have you got?
Nice rook form!
Let's see it.
Back up, Louis.
Strauss. 10th time that he's led the side. It's not been an easy tenure. Mike Brown comes through and is offside.
Soft penalty. I'm just thinking about the England kicking game. Because the South African counter-attack really is pretty non-existent at the moment, Ben Youngs isn't under pressure to retrieve it all the time. He's quite happy to quite often go long and just enable the England line to press, because you know, if you play against New Zealand, you're under threat if there's a 30-metre break between defenders and the guys catching the ball. But if you play in South Africa, you can put that ball long and you know you're in business. Ben Young, he's having a really intelligent game. Ball in hand, as it is there for the try for George Ford, and kicking. Lovely balance to his game. But again, you know, you play a team with a back three that can counter-attack. You cannot kick as much and as long as England can without being tested. But today, there's no real pressure. Territory is king for England.
Meanwhile, Pat Lambie has not been looking too good. He's been receiving treatment. He's trying to stay on. Africa coming up. Live only on Sky Sports next weekend. Match 2 for England in the Old Mutual Wealth Series against Fiji. Didn't do so well against the Barbarians last night, Fiji, but no doubt targeting next week. Argentina arrive in a fortnight's time. And then we come to a conclusion with Christmas just around the corner. England against Australia, and Australia very much on a revenge mission. Slap down to Page, difficult ball for the scrum half. De Allende doing what he does so well. Take that ball up, and there goes Diaga. Page starting to get into their game a little bit here, South Africa. Alberts. LaRue. Where's the teeth? Where's the bite? Strauss. Diaga again. Almost 7 foot. Alberts. Page, LaRue, dropped by Vincent Clark. And Young says, OK, now I'll really go for it with May. Flying onto Combrink again. It led to a try in the first half, the score from Courtney Laws. Page. Tom Wood, another tackle. Move! He's worn the number 7 jersey frequently for Northampton in his time, if not for England. And that's going to fall for Adrian Strauss, but didn't make too good a job of the hack through. Youngs. Ford. Yard wants it now. Once again, nothing Peterson can do. He won a World Cup against England in 2007. George Ford, well, he's starting to orchestrate here.
Yeah, he looked up, saw Peterson flat, got over the top of him. You can see there 50-50 in terms of possession, but it's not just how much possession you have, it's what you do with it. And England are doing a great deal more with it. I think they're using Youngs and Vunipola running off him, and that's giving them the gain line. And with the gain line came the meters, and with the meters comes a score line that is very lopsided.
And here's a debut for Nathan Hughes of Wasps. He replaces Tom Wood, who's been bouncing around the England camp this week. Just delighted to be back. No doubt that man's been feeling pretty chuffed as well. Now, an international, the Wasp man, 25 years of age, qualified for Fiji and Samoa, but now
no, stop.
an England player.
Time on.
Changes the dimensions of the back row. Hughes, a great ball carrier. Wood was picked to destroy. Hughes is picked to create. This is a very attacking decision from Eddie Jones at just about the right time.
And Pat Lambie's gone as well. Said he was injured. He's gone and been replaced by Johan Hussen, the top 14 player of the season last season. Racing 92 in Paris.
No, too wide, go away.
Useful drive for South Africa. They need something to cling on to.
No, now it's finished. Use it now. Stand back.
Just starving England of possession here. Hussen gets an early touch for him, and that's what he does well. He has a long-range kick on him as well. That's Saracen supporters in the final of the Champions Cup last season, but South Africa need more than kicks.
He's come on and he's emulated George Ford, whose first kick out of hand is hit very low trajectory. On a greasy surface like this, the ball just fizzes off it, and it gives you 40-50 metres in terms of territory. But South Africa, they really do need to start targeting this England line-out. That's 11-0 at the moment. I mean, those are stats that South Africa have to turn around to have any chance.
Launchbury almost unopposed again. It's just allowing England to go along with these kicks. Combrink. He's been asked to do that so many times. Catch and try and bring the ball away. Hussen. LaRue. De Allende. There's Hughes getting involved and then driven off. Hussen again. Whiteley.
Tackle!
super athlete, Whiteley. Haven't really been able to see it today. LaRue. Strauss. And the flag is up.
Another England line-out throw.
Yeah.
Now, I was amazed in the first half, Scott, that South Africa didn't attack England. You said the same. Why are South Africa not getting men in the air against Launchbury and co?
Bonji, your guess is as good as mine. When I look at this, the team they've selected, the pack they've selected, I thought, listen, we're going to try to put a lot of aerial pressure on them from a lineup point of view. I understood that we said, okay, fine, we're going to give them the front ball, but then we're going to put a lot of pressure from the lineup, but we didn't do that either. So it's just, for me, I'm like you, I don't know why and what's their plan.
Scott Britt's a hooker, of course, and England have made a change at hooker. Captain Hartley goes off. He's not had a lot of rugby recently. He was always
forward, Gerard, forward.
And he's replaced by Jamie George. South Africa, 2 new props on. We'll get to those in a moment. See what de Allende can do first.
Advantage green
Jamie
for the
George,
forward
one
pass.
for England to bring on in terms of his form. Said that Mako Vunipola was in top form for Saracens in the front row, and so too George. There is Stephen Kitsoff, one of the replacement props for South Africa. The other is Lorenz Adriansa. And here is Mike Brown. May trying to help him out.
No,
and also Rob Shaw.
Okay. Come on,
terrific
man.
covering of the ground again by the England 6. Here's Hooson, tackled by new man Jamie George, winning his 9th cap. Page, Toy, LaRue, Strauss on to de Allende, and now Peterson. It's all very across the field. Peterson uses his strength there to get South Africa in a forward motion. Steph du Toit to Lou Diaga.
Free white.
Page, Hooson. Good work by Adriansa at close quarters. Rob Shaw there again. Page back to LaRue. It's not going anywhere, South Africa, are they? Peterson. De Allende from a standing start. Looked a bit tired, the centre there.
Absolutely, Miles.
In goes Rob Shaw again.
Away, 6.
Chop and tackle. He does not look tired. LaRue, but there might be a few men out here for Whiteley to stretch those athletic legs that we were talking about. Inside to Hooson, and South Africa get one back. They needed a pick-me-up, and they get one there. And we talked about England patience. Well, that was South Africa's turn to show patience in the build-up. There will be a check, I think, for a potential forward pass here before Hooson can try and convert his own score. And that really would pour salt on the wounds.
Unlucky if it's not given. Whiteley, great pace.
Not that one. This one, next one.
This is the pass. That is forward.
I know. It's play on for me.
It's out of Fenter's hands. He flips that, and that goes clearly forward. That is forward.
Well, the crowd are with you. No great surprise there, but...
Are you happy? Are you happy?
Yeah, the
look at
first picture for us. Look at this. The first picture is good. If you put the zoom on this, we cannot be sure. But the first picture that we saw on the big screen, for us is fine.
Okay.
Try.
Joking.
Hooson's not going to hang around here.
Thanks.
He's got his try. Important kick, and you think the gap would then be 14, 2 tries, 2 conversions if this goes over. England still have plenty of breathing space, but even more if this misses, and it does miss. So it's just the 5 points, and a controversial 5 as well.
That's a subjective call, isn't it? Takes this ball, flicks it out of the right hand. cannot see. Look, Whiteley has to reach forward and get it. I mean, that is forward. It's great play from Whiteley and a super finish from Hoosen. A bit of luck for South Africa, I think you could say there.
And it's now 3 tries to 1.
No, release! No.
Page. Is Mike Brown. And still Mike Brown, despite the arms sliding up on the tackle, which World Rugby made the point this week. The referees to really be even more vigilant on that. They've been pretty vigilant in recent times, and rightly so. The referee is playing advantage for that. There's Farrell, nothing coming for England. He might want a word as well.
It should take 3 points here, take them 7, more than 2 converted tries clear. There's the high tackle by Diolande. In itself, it's not much, but if you're going to start policing high tackles, then any of those have to be penalised. Completely the right decision from England yet again. Try and get a 19-point lead. Whiteley, the catalyst for the try, knocked backwards there from Billy Vunipola, who's been his usual gargantuan self today.
Story going around that he was interested in American football. Could do a job, I'm sure.
He's got a rugby union career to go first, and a big one. Young man, a huge amount ahead of him.
Described as world-class by Eddie Jones, or virtually there, and that phrase world-class not banded around too freely by,
not by Jones.
The likes of Jones. Same could be said of this man, Farrell. So much time still left in the game. And this time the flags stay down.
Chink of light still for South Africa. Just the 16 points down. It's still a long way, but
it's a pretty long tunnel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Faf de Klerk comes on, change act. Scrum half, Rudy Page off. And Jonathan Joseph is on as well. Off goes Johnny May, another player just coming back. Certainly at this level. First game back, but club rugby as well, like Hartley. Feeling his way back after an injury. May's much more longer term, the problem. Hoosen given the jeers by the crowd, and he's got to it.
Yeah, if you're 16 points down, you can't afford to make errors like that. South Africa must be just hoping England are going to crack, but England have shown signs of improving in the last 20, and this is one of the best benches I've seen for a long time, as Mako Vunipola goes and Marler comes on. England should intensify their game here.
Joe Marler back, off goes Mako Vunipola. Marler, who ruled himself out of the summer tour, and got in a bit of a problem with Twitter, but as he was explaining this week, just delighted that Eddie Jones is the kind of character who will wipe the slate clean, say the right things at the time, wipe the slate clean and give the player another chance, and base his decision on attitude and form at the time. And Marler just delighted to be back. 43 caps now.
Same ball.
That's exactly what happened in the first half. South Africa hoping for the turnover, but not getting it these days. How the law stands.
Quite a lot of frustration for the visitors at the moment. I mean, they've definitely got a surge on England there before that scrum starts to twist, but and I think the South Africa bench feel the same. You could see that surge. Sometimes if you can't tell what's happening, the team that gets the initial oomph and the push, it makes sense to back them.
And alongside Alistair Coetzee there was Matthew Proudfoot, the scrum coach, forwards coach. Goes Youngs. There, the carry from Rob Shaw. Said it before so many times, but what an engine that man has. Nathan Hughes. Rob Shaw ready and willing to take again. Youngs to George. Youngs digging it out. Marler, not quite what he planned, but he didn't make the error in the end. Billy Vunipola.
Great carry.
Got a bit of a shunt, but he gives himself a shunt too, doesn't he? His launch spring. England building again. Ford, Farrell. That's good from South Africa. Plenty waiting, spearheaded by Dutoy. Nice hands there from Ford and Joseph. And here's Elliot Daly. England creeping closer. Laws. Yard needs to clear away and does. Youngs to Brown. There again, at least a double tackle, nearly three. Adrian Strauss and Dan Cole tussling. Launchbury. Youngs, and he's done it again. They worked exactly the same move, and this time it's Farrell, not Ford. Ford can be the chaperone. It's 10 years since England beat South Africa, and this team are about to put an end to that run.
Ben Youngs, the assist king again. Some quick ball from England. Little decoy again, and again it's poor old Pieter-Steph du Toit. Buys it. Oh, not for the second time, Peter. Yes, indeed. Youngs just straightens it. And whereas it's Ford the first time, it's his rival, mate, friend, call it what you will, Farrell for the second one. England's two playmakers benefiting from a lovely performance from Ben Youngs.
Schoolmate. And there's Farrell adding to his own try. And England now surely gone and out of sight. Just needed Farrell to control that. Now he's doing the smiling.
Well, South Africa, their defence has struggled all year. They gambled because they put one of their line-out aces, Pieter-Steph du Toit, on the flank. And what's happened there, he's found himself exposed a couple of times in an unusual position, and he just hasn't coped with it, and he's been identified by Ben Youngs, targeted and exploited.
Nizam Carr on for South Africa. Hussen, that could go anywhere. Launchbury's lining up another one. What an impressive return to the starting lineup from Joe Launchbury. Ball strip given to George. Kerr now on at scrum half for England. Ben Youngs with those dummies and so much more played such a strong role today. Now it's that forward from Peterson. He's looking to see if there's an assistance in line there. Brown on that far side certainly thought it was forward. Here's Mike Brown. Rain keeps on coming. I swear we're not out the clouds today. They've descended on Twickenham.
Turnover ball, turnover. Keep the ball here.
Pieter-Steph du Toit. There's Nizam Carr. Jaco Kriel pulling out injured from the tour, and that Carr stayed on after the Barbarian game. There's Venter. Faf de Klerk. Scrum half needs to get there again. LaRue and Peterson. Sure, he thought he'd thrown that forward.
Jerome Garces has got a gentle interpretation of the forward pass this half.
Here's Elliot Daly. Yet to see his jet shoes. But he's really quick. So too Kerr, of course. And Farrell, no slouch here. looking for Ford again, who got in front of him but checked, and then a little chip. Where's this one going to go? Ruan Combrink has it. And these are desperate times for South Africa when you think they conceded nearly 100 points over the 2 games to the All Blacks in the Rugby Championship. I mean, they are a team in transition, but of course they're always a team under incredible pressure back home.
Well, they are as a great rugby nation, but also as a nation that has got real political problems in terms of selection and problems of players travelling all over the world and not being available. England now starting to exploit it, but I guess you look at it and think England should be exploiting it. Farrell and Ford combining again. Boy, England have found some holes, just running straight down that middle of that park, haven't they? 9, 10, 12.
A little bit like the Barbarians last week. It was vacant in those areas, wasn't it?
Vacant is a word that I would use to describe South Africa's defence this year, I'm afraid.
Coach lookers on, another returning man for England, Dave Atwood, he's back. And we also have a debut for Ben Teo, who's onto the field to win his first cap, and born in Auckland.
Straight
there he is. Danny Kerr to Nathan Hughes. And it's not getting any easier here for the Springboks. Kerr, nice flip of the ball away to Jonathan Joseph, who took it badly, being left out of the side. That's exactly what his boss wanted. Ball dropped by Joe Marler. After Clerk to JP Peterson. And penalty South Africa, but whereas in the first half they were having an effect on the scoreboard, they're not in the second.
21 and 3. Yeah, 3. If I spend 10-20 seconds with you, maybe I miss something here, okay? So...
Warning for Dan Cole. Here's Hoosen, just confirming that Ford went off, so Farrell is at 10. And Mike Brown is out of play.
Carl Sinclair entering the equation. Another Harlequin on as Dan Cole comes off.
Another debut. Sinclair, as you say, of the Harlequins, 23 years of age.
Spent some time with Sean Fitzpatrick midweek in Ireland. He was very excited about the potential of Sinclair.
There's a spiky customer. Up from Farrell.
Good contact in the air.
Soft Daly. And Francois Benter did well to find Combrink. Tackle from Teo. So much versatility in this England backline. De Klerk. Combrink. Jonathan Joseph was not going to let him slip away on the inside, and Sinclair was there as well. Slaps his way into international rugby. Dropped by Venter this time, and almost stolen by Rob Shaw. What a popular moment that would have been. The former captain racing underneath the post.
You smell the ball.
Instead, Carl Sinclair penalised.
Gain line, Will.
Inside lines, first carrier, Eddie's mantra. Lunchbury hard, close, straight. Steve Dutoy has to get around the corner by confronting the defence so quickly. He has to get around, so he never gets set. Ben Young spots it, picks him up, goes on again, Dutoy. But all day, Ben Young's been getting this ride because the carries from the forwards have been everything Eddie wants from them.
They're just relentless. Those England forwards, the way they've carried, they've punched hole after hole. Bongi Umurambi placing the captain at hooker, winning his fourth cap and throws in.
Come on!
As South Africa look for something towards the end. They got the Houston score. This one maybe for the forwards and a few backs as well as they join in with them all. Here comes Venter, the debut man, and he's just short. Just to take a bit of a gloss off the England victory, which is now inevitable. Kitsov, lost forward, Robshaw, up from Teo to Joseph, and the crowd say go. Yard was wanting it, you can see there just flapping his arms, say why not now? Well, it's coming, but in a different way, as Farrell boots it downfield, and Brown and Yard chase. And LaRue kicks. And England might look to go quickly, they do. Elliot Daly. It is covered that by Peterson. De Allende. Huson. Oh, there's a lot of space there. But Huson's not going to be allowed to run into it because he's on the floor, courtesy of Nathan Hughes.
Nathan Hughes body checking. Could he have moved away?
Have a look on the big screen, please.
I'd like to see that close up again. Not that much in it.
Doesn't really move his line, does he?
He's jumped up for the ball, and then Huson's gone into him.
He must be very accurate about did he touch his head. Yes.
Where can he go when he's in the air? He can't go anywhere because he's in the air.
No, but I think it was late and he kept holding him. Do you want a recommendation?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Jumps. What can he do when his feet go off the ground?
His eyes were on the player, but he's entitled to do that. He's entitled to look. If anything, you need to look to avoid the nasty injury.
Well, the bloke can't fly, so he can't change his decision.
Just a late charge, you don't touch your head, so it's just a penalty. But come now. He's trying to promote.
I think they've got
been
that
given
wrong.
a penalty where the ball landed, of course.
I think it's wrong. You jump in the air, you know, unless you're Superman, you can't fly.
Justice may have been done there because that is a horrible miss. Touch not found. And LaRue goes back, chastened by it.
Right, OK, man of the match. The cameo performance was that of Ben Youngs. Graded 2 tries, brilliant, but my old Mutual Wealth man of the match has to be Joe Launchbury. He's come back into the team. He has been brilliant in every aspect of the game, every aspect.
And this, a man of the match award he will want, as opposed to the one at the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Advantage.
Well, for man of the match winners, he had the longest face possible, robbed by Atwood. Now he's denied, like Robshaw was before.
And you put your arm. Yeah, accident.
Marla penalised, nothing intentional, just an accident, but a penalty. High tackle.
White player.
Players are really going to have to watch that now. It has been rubber stamped, underlined in bright lights for them.
I know you have
this one does find touch. A few ironic jeers from the Twickenham faithful.
That's a super kick from Ruan Combring. Right wing with his left hand, with the left foot, super kick.
In comes Lionel Mapu for his 10th cap. The who played for the Lions in the Super Rugby final. Urged Bongi Umbanambi to throw into the line-out. JP Peterson, the man off. Just looking for scraps here, South Africa. Have to Klerk. Willem Alberts. Often the hero in these games.
Backward.
Always the winner, but not today. Kitsov made his debut against Ireland in the summer. And this has been a hard year for South Africa post their World Cup semi-final when they came so close to beating New Zealand. Billy LaRue. England really looking for that interception.
Knock on white
Kerr
only.
this
Knock on
time.
white only.
Just not quite tall enough there, Danny Kerr.
Advantage, knock on white.
Advantage for the knock-on. Carr
knock on
is
white.
stopped.
Second knock on green.
The crowd are greedy. They want one more England try.
Well, what England won't want is a late score for South Africa, just to take the gloss off it. I think Eddie Jones will look at this performance. He'll see a lot that he'll like. The line-outs have gone really well. As Will was saying, England have been good at the breakdown. They've stopped South Africa and they've found space around the corner, as the phrase is known, and Ben Youngs has exploited it brilliantly. We also saw a wonderfully worked first phase try, something we don't see often from England. So there's things to work on, but there's definite sense of the team building.
It's better at the scrum. That was going backwards for South Africa, but they got it away quickly to Combry. And Hughes was there. And there goes Dutoy. The determination there of Joseph. England do not want to let South Africa pass here, but they might. And Billy LaRue, right at the end, gets something for South Africa, but I'm not going to say something to shout about, because for them today only one word matters, and that is defeat.
That's a well-taken try by the Springboks, but in no way is that any consolation at all. They've been well beaten by England. After the first 20 minutes, they've been outplayed. England a little bit slow to reorganise, in fact very slow to reorganise. Houston, who's had an impact since he's come off the bench, scored one try. He's looked sharp. He just delays the pass really well, holds Marland Yard, and because of that, Yard can't get across. I just think England a little bit slow to get there. I don't think it's tiredness. If it is tiredness, Eddie Jones will be very disappointed after Portugal. It's well worked by South Africa, but I think England were just a little bit slow to reload on that short side.
Because of the scoreboard.
I think, yeah, had that scoreboard been 37-30, I think England would have been a bit more urgent getting men round there, yeah. And I think Eddie Jones will be livid with that.
Crowd want the kick here from Combrick to go towards those posts quickly, so England get another chance, and it does go towards them and through them for 2 points, and there will be time to restart the match.
Gives them something to work on ahead of Fiji, plenty to work on. But England will just look at that. They didn't bounce off the floor quickly enough, and Paul Gustard, well, he's not smiling at the moment. Jason Riles from Melbourne Storm, they'll be thinking, hey, there's still a lot of work to be done, lads. And there is.
Never a bad thing, though, if there's a lot of work to be done and you're winning by this margin. And here's Elliot Daly on the restart, try and give the Twickenham crowd what they want. Kerr, Farrell, Teo, he'll straighten. Kerr again, there's a lot of body to try and work through there, wearing green shirts, he did well. Kerr, George, last attack of the match that England have long since won. Here's Launchbury, the man of the match. It's pulled out of his grasp, no knock on. There's Farrell, Joseph. Talked about the England determination, but credit to South Africa here. They're pretty determined in defence and just grab something back. Not to change the result, but a tiny little morsel of pride.
What do you reckon? The game is won. There's nothing other to do.
Play for the crowd is the call from the crowd. England a little bit more hard-nosed than that. But the bottom line is the Eddie Jones reign just cannot be put off stride. 10 out of 10 is achieved. A fourth win over Southern Hemisphere opposition. And England win by 37-21. It's a slightly new mix today, but the recipe basically very much the same. And it is victory over South Africa for the first time since 2006.
Flinty final decision there from Owen Farrell in England to kick the ball into touch. the team they're chasing, New Zealand, probably would have tapped and gone. England at the moment a little more hard-nosed, a little bit less ambition, a little bit more variety to their game. But I think today, with that try we saw from Johnny May, some of the stuff we saw from Ben Youngs off Launchbury, we saw England just taking another stage. For Eddie Jones, it's each game one at a time, but the end game remains Tokyo.
You know what, though, Stuart? That is the professional decision, isn't it? Someone gets injured in that final attack, they're out of the series, and everybody says, why did you do it? Just to please the crowd. They are here to win games, not just this week, but the rest of this campaign.
Yeah, they are, but you see a team like New Zealand who have such a love of playing with the ball in hand that they actually believe they can score all the time. And maybe the flip side of that is, you know, England have got to trust themselves and back themselves and give themselves more opportunities to go and score. They enjoyed handling the Springboks physically. Maybe at the next stage they've got to enjoy humiliating them with the ball in hand, as New Zealand did. It's a difficult balance, there's nothing wrong with it, but England, it's another step forward.
Well, it certainly is that. And Dylan Hartley and his men tasting victory against South Africa for the first time. A run of 12 matches. The stat being pounded at the England camp all week. They said they're just looking forward, as again professional players have to do. They can't get stuck in history. There's no getting away from the fact, for anybody connected with England rugby, that this was a run of 12 matches without defeat for South Africa, just the one draw. It was getting silly, but now England at home doing what they need to do.
Look forward to the Fiji game as well now. You know, let's not kid ourselves. I don't think England will play the same 15 that played today, or will take on Argentina or Australia, but it's a great opportunity for Eddie Jones, who's been working with his squad in Portugal, to give them a chance at Twickenham, for the crowd to come and see the next wave of English talent. Eddie Jones has said to win a World Cup, it's not having a 15 or a 23, it's having a 35. There's going to be members of that 35 getting their chance to start next week, and that's really exciting.
And you can see that game live on Sky Sports 2. Get underway at 2 o'clock, same kickoff time, 2:30. England-Fiji, followed by England-Argentina, followed by England-Australia. 37 points. You've got to be happy with that, but there were aspects of the England performance, certainly in the first half, that they would not have been happy with. And there, towards the end, the concession of the try.